I was just waiting for the music to fade out dramatically before we got this thing started. Hey everybody, welcome to the Metal Jesus Rocks panel. Hang on a second, I want to get this applause here on record, just in case. There we go. Excellent, excellent. Oh, that was a good moment. That's a great table wave, you guys. Awesome sauce. So yeah, just proof that you guys show up to this, that we're not just doing it for the green screen, which we do at home anyway. Hey, welcome everybody. So happy you guys could make it here to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and super stoked that the entire crew can be here once again. It's not often we can get all of us together in one place.
Yeah,
it's like herding
Reggie.
Yeah. It's like herding chickens on crack sometimes, but we made it happen this time. We have a kind of a limited time. We only have about 45 minutes to do the panel, so I want to get us right into this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run down the table and have everybody let us know what they've been up to the past few months and what game are you playing right now, and then we'll go straight into some questions. How about that? Is that cool with you guys? Y'all good? Got everything you need? Great. Well, all the way on the far end, we have, is that Radical Reggie? John Riggs is ahead of him. I couldn't see him.
I actually been trying to learn Japanese recently. I've been using that Rosetta Stone, and you guys know how I like to import games, and I just got into it. And I'm trying to take a trip to Japan next year, so I want to learn the basics at least. So, and the game I've been playing is Last of Us. I just beat that to get pumped up for the second game. So.
Love it.
Mr. Riggs.
Should I introduce myself, I guess?
Yeah.
No, okay. This'll work. Last few months I've been traveling to other conventions. I'm from the Northwest. Without a shred of irony, I can say that Portland Retro Gaming Expo is the best retro gaming convention in the entire United States, possibly the world. And I've been to a lot of them. Recently I've always wanted to check out Too Many Games in Philadelphia. It's great, it's huge, but I mean, the vendor hall's not as big, the arcade's not as big. Yeah, they have cosplay wrestling, which is like the coolest thing ever. If I can get them to come over here, then I think we have a win-win. But I'm just traveling around, went to E3 for the very first time. That was a cool experience. And the game I've been playing, of all games, unironically, is a game called One Night Stand for the Nintendo Switch. It's super cheap. It's like less than $5. Every time you play it, it's the same scenario, but you can answer questions differently to get a different outcome. And there's like 12 different endings, and none of them are good endings. So it's like 2 are better than nothing, and then there's like 10 super awkward endings. So it's probably true that I like a one night. I've never had a one night stand, so I couldn't tell you one way or another. But I'm playing that on the Switch, and I'm trying to unlock all the endings, and I think it's great.
Excellent. And nothing amazing has happened to Kelsey lately, so we can just kind of skip on down past her. Kelsey, what's going on?
I spent the last couple months preparing to get married and then getting married. And thank you. Everyone stare at my husband. He's the one with the camera. And yeah, working at the Video Game History Foundation. It was announced a couple months ago. I'm the co-director now, so I've been very busy with that. Oh, thanks. I get 2 rounds of applause. Yeah, all right. Video games? People play video games?
No.
I'm really not playing anything right now because I've been so busy. The last thing I played was Untitled Goose Game, and it is so freaking good. It's the best game ever. But I haven't played a game in a week right now. I've been so busy.
And the immortal John Hancock.
All right, anybody see the Sega Genesis collection in the museum? Yeah. No, so I've really been preparing. I had about 60 days to prepare my Sega Genesis collection to be in PRGE Museum. It was kind of plan B this year, and I'm really...
Don't say it like that.
It kind of was. But it was. I was happy to take it up, and I'm really happy it's there. Games, I haven't been playing anything super recently, but I was playing a little bit of X-Wing on PC, and I'm really enjoying playing the classic.
Excellent.
Who remembers that?
Yeah.
So yeah, haven't been playing much lately. Just been really just focusing on having the Genesis collection on display, and glad to be here.
Awesome. Good.
What have I been up to? Nothing.
Yeah. That's why I didn't introduce you, because nobody cares. Ladies and gentlemen, Metal Jesus Rocks.
Thank you for coming. YouTube is my life, man. So, doing the YouTube thing, which has been awesome. And through that, I get to go to a bunch of expos, like this one, of course, but also down to Phoenix, Arizona, which we had a great time at that. It was hot as hell.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I'm a Pacific Northwest guy, so it was hot, but it was cool. And then, of course, E3 as well. So that I love to travel, so that's really fun. And then as for what games I've been playing, lately I've been addicted to Dragon Quest XI on Switch.
Oh.
Man, I haven't played a JRPG like this in a long time. It's super addictive, so it's fun.
And to my right, Kinsella. Kinsey!
Lately, I've just been working a lot at my day job, so I haven't had as much time as I've wanted to have for games. But I also went back to school, and I've been taking Japanese. So I've been at it for about a year, and I took it for 3 years in high school, so I remembered a little bit. So that's been going well. I'm just gonna say it's been going well. We went to Japan, and I could speak to a few people. So,
She's being modest. It was so nice having her there. It was really great. Yeah.
So it did come in handy there, and I'm just like looking forward to learning more. And I just started playing Ni no Kuni on the DS because it has like the Furigana, because it came out originally in Japan on the DS, and then it was ported to the PS3 for the US market when they re-released it there. So I've been trying to struggle through that. That's been fun. But mostly I'm also just playing Dragon Quest on the Switch. It's so good.
Excellent. Well, I'm Drunken Master Paul. I'm such an attention whore. So my summer was taken up completely by my wife and I went to France for 6 weeks for the entire Women's World Cup soccer tournament. We went for the entire thing. We saw 17 games, and just by sheer luck, we were able to see every single U.S. game. So we saw all the way through, and we got to see them win the title again. It was brilliant. And if you guys watch it on TV, it was not a blowout. We were stressed the entire time that they wouldn't make it. So it was really, really super cool to be there. So that's pretty much was our last 4 years, really. We had to plan for 4 years to take this trip. Instead of taking a vacation every year, we just did one big one. But it was so worth it, and I love France to death. What I've been doing lately game-wise is I've actually been firing up my Twitch stream. Getting back into that once I got back. I'm streaming 3 times a week and playing games on that as well. Right now I'm playing Dead Space 2 for Halloween.
Nice.
And if I have enough time in October, if I finish that on Monday, I'm going to do Ghostbusters for the PS3, which I love the movies. I hear that's really, really good. And then earlier, Metal Jesus lent me his Xbox One, and I played Gears 5, which was Gears 5. So that's been kind of my gaming role right now, just doing the Twitch thing and thinking about going to Australia for the next World Cup. Excellent. All right, so we'll just go jump into some questions. What are we going to do? There's the nice lady with the microphone. So where do you want to line this up? Right down the middle, people. If you want to have a question for the Metal Jesus Rocks crew, please stand up and get in line. Come right at the front here, and we'll answer your questions in the weirdest way we possibly can.
Hi, your panel's great. Thanks for doing it. I just got a Japanese Super Famicom, and I was wondering if you have a recommendation for a terrific Japanese-only Super Famicom platformer.
Oh, isn't Devil World on that?
No, that's Famicom.
Oh,
I was going to be so happy.
So close.
Yeah.
Who's got this one?
Platformers. I mean,
A platformer.
I think one.
what's that suit?
Ghost Sweeper.
Ghost
Mikami?
Sweeper Mikami?
Yeah, I think that's platform.
Man, we were hoping for easy questions.
But once you
Someone
get through
just
this one, you'll
dropped
be
it
ready
in
for the
my
next
lap.
one. Yeah.
Metal Jesus and I did a video on Super Famicom exclusives, and there's a couple of platformers there. It's kind of like when the Three Stooges all go through the door at the same time. They can't get through. I have all these answers coming through, and they're just not
Right.
leaving my mouth. Yeah, but there's so many of them. But if you do a quick search on the
That was a
channel.
couple years ago. I remember that now.
I'm going to give you a really, really expensive one that's called Sute de Haken, I believe is what it's called. And it's like, you're like a little snowman-looking thing, and you suck up different colors to be able to get up. So it's kind of like a puzzle platformer. It's really cool. It's also like several $100s, but you know, I'm not telling you where you should get your games or how you should obtain them. Just saying it's a game worth playing.
Super Back
thank
to
you.
the Future 2 will
yeah.
also work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Super
Oh,
Back to the
yeah.
Future 2 is easy to play, and you don't need to know Japanese to play it. It's perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Oh, it's on TV? Wow.
Great. Actually, before you do your next question, I'm going to change things just a little bit. I'm going to have everybody come around to this side by the table and line up so the line is going this way. I'm seeing a lot of people's sight lines are getting blocked here. I'm seeing a lot of this action. So if you guys want to just quickly scamper over here. That's not a good scamper. There's a good scamper. So come around and just stand right by the corner of the table would be great.
Hey, I'm a big fan.
Everybody see okay now? Thinking of you, buddy.
Hey, my question is specifically for Metal Jesus. I'm a fan of all you guys as well. I actually love your VR content that you've been doing lately, John.
Thank you.
It's awesome. It
Anyone
really.
else?
Yes.
Yep.
My question is, when you were making your name on YouTube, were you ever worried that you'd be confused for like some hardcore Christian rock band or something?
Well, if I was smart, I would have been, but no, because I got that name from a fellow coworker that was calling me that at my IT job, and it just kind of stuck. And I just was like, I'm going to throw rocks at the end of it. And I always liked the idea of having a name that didn't necessarily define you. I wasn't looking for something that had sort of like 8-bit in it or retro this or that. I wanted to be able to do games, music, cooking, Japan travel vlogs, stuff like that. And also I wanted something that people could remember, hopefully. So it works out, but occasionally I do get the crazy email of someone who is somewhat offended or whatever. And then I dig into my past, because I used to go to Assembly of God when I was growing up, and I have to remind them that, it's actually not Jesus, it's Yeshua is the name of God. So I can go there if I need to. So.
All right, thank
Nice
you.
little history lesson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, in my world, it's Jesus.
Yeah, or Jesus.
There you go. All right. Hi, guys. So I have a very kind of an easy question. Okay, so if you guys were stuck in a desert island and you would have one album, one favorite album or soundtrack, game, movie, or otherwise, what would it be?
Okay. Album.
Question.
Album or soundtrack?
Sure.
Either one.
It can be a game soundtrack too. I might have to be Chrono Cross. Anybody play Chrono Cross?
All right, let's just go down the table.
So
Come on.
soundtrack to Ninja Gaiden. The Nintendo soundtrack to Ninja Gaiden. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Does it have to be video game related?
It doesn't have to.
Anything.
Okay.
It's our panel. We can answer anything. Hell,
Okay. I know for me it's going to be a Dream Theater album of some kind.
Yeah.
Just because it's so dense that there's just so much to explore and learn and get from a Dream Theater album that would be my choice for sure.
All right. Anyone else want to?
Probably music. What does that mean? Non-video game soundtrack would be probably a Buzzcocks album. Especially that like 4 vinyl set, so then I have like way more music. And then video game music would probably end up being Final Fantasy IX because I'm super nostalgic for that. And I'm like, well, if I had to listen to one, probably this one. I'd sit in the desert island and like cry. Like
Pretending to hold the controller.
It is a beautiful soundtrack.
For me, video game soundtrack would be Need for Speed 2 Hot Pursuit.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
That's
and my album would be Queen, Night at the Opera.
That's a good
Specifically, side 2. It starts with the Prophet song.
See, I would do Queen Day at the Races.
Yeah.
But then my game soundtrack would be Tony Hawk Pro Skater, like 2 or 3.
There you go.
I will say 2 or 3. 2? 3? 2? See, I will say Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. How about you, Kelsey?
Well, that's an interesting answer now. Yeah, it would be a Tony Hawk Pro Skater album, probably.
The variety.
Yeah, exactly. You get like a really good mix of stuff in that.
Good answer.
Although Grand Theft Auto Vice City would be another one.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that'd be good
Yeah.
too.
I wonder
V-Rock.
Also,
Yeah,
also
it's
Katamari
like-
Damacy
if
for
to
me,
grab the
yeah.
microphone. 'Cause-
Cool. Great question. Thank you.
Oh, I said, I wonder if you stand in the middle, like when you pass the microphone in front of the speakers.
Good idea. Yeah,
there
less
we go.
feedback that way.
There we go. That we get the sight lines, and we can see you. It's not like we're like, being picked out in the middle of a lineup or something.
How did all you guys meet?
How did we all meet?
I think I met Jason at a convention.
Yep.
PRGE years ago.
I think it was Seattle Retro.
Yeah, Seattle. Boy, it's so long ago I forgot. But yeah, you know, Northwest Con, and met him there, and we just hit it off.
Yeah.
And Jason and I met at Sierra
Yep.
in '95.
He was our mocha guy, actually. He would drive around with a little truck and make us mochas.
Yeah.
And he made us laugh, too, and we're like, all right, let's hire him.
Yeah, I fed free mochas to the tech support manager until he agreed to hire me. And then I met the rest of these guys through the Metal Jesus channel.
And then,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What was your guys' favorite consoles like individually?
Sega Genesis.
That was a given. I really
All right,
like the
thank you.
PlayStation 2. I
Thank
would just
you.
throw that out there.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's becoming Switch.
Yeah, same
Like,
here.
but nostalgic reasons, PS1.
Yeah, mine's gonna be the 360. I just play more games on it. It's just a little more accessible for me. My first console was Pong, Telstar Pong. So yeah, I know John's nodding his head back there. Oh yeah, I've got that one.
Inbox.
Yeah. No, you probably have my old one.
I think mine's becoming the Switch. If you have to go like pure variety, it's probably PS2. There's just like enough there to last you forever.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely a portable person, so like 3DS, Switch, and of course WonderSwan's my baby. So
Yeah. I like the just 8-bit NES, Nintendo Entertainment System.
For me, it's the PlayStation. PlayStation is definitely a game changer in the industry. So I don't know if anybody remembers that back then, but it was a big deal. So
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah. Great question.
Great.
Hey, I just bought my first NES today. I like played Neighbors growing up, so I played like all the Marios and Zelda and that kind of stuff. But I was just wondering what like is a good like first couple of games for me to get, maybe look out for in the next week or so.
Are you looking for single player games or multiplayer?
Both. My partner and I both really like playing games, so.
I have an inexpensive one. It's one of my favorite. Ice hockey.
Oh,
Ice-
yeah,
Just
it's
straight up
actually
ice
fun.
hockey, okay? It sounds simple, but it's so much fun. It's easy. If you're not into ice hockey, you can pick up and play. And it's just pure Nintendo classic gameplay. It's just addicting, and it's cheap. It's really cheap. You can-
just
Now, you said
Don't play the Russians.
you said you got an NES, right?
Yeah.
NES. Are you talking about Blades of Steel, John?
no regular Nintendo Ice Hockey.
Nintendo ice hockey, and there's a big debate what's better, but I like ice hockey, and it's also cheaper.
Blades of Steel. Yeah.
Oh, throw down here. I know for me,
It's a good beer
They're
drinking
both
game.
good. Yes, they're both good.
I got to go Excite Bike. I mean, honestly, if I hook up my NES or I'm playing it, I always go for that. I love that game still, even today. It's perfect.
That's a good one.
I like Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and God, I love that game. And Bubble Bobble.
I'm gonna go with like DuckTales. Really good.
I got that today, yeah.
Like what style of game are you looking for?
I play like platformers and
Platformers?
RPGs usually.
Perfect. Tiny Toon Adventures, for sure. It's the best platformer on the NES, just outside of Mario 3. And that's, find that one.
I got two for you. I like Cabal. It's a really good gallery shooter. Not a lot of people talk about it. It's really cheap.
With like a K? With a C?
But so yeah, and the other one is my favorite. Is Rainbow Islands. So you can't go wrong with that one. So.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
one
I'm
more.
gonna cheat and say one more. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, is a great port, and it's fun. It's a brawler, but it's a lot of fun. It's fun to play.
Just not the first one.
No, not the
The
first
second one?
Yeah.
It's,
Okay.
The first one's rough, but
yeah, first one's rough, second one I
They
cheated.
turn you off from the
But-
system.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
You're
thank you.
welcome. Awesome. And the handoff is successful.
Hey, I just started following your channel. I really like the videos. I had a question. As someone who does not have a lot of time, I work and I go to school, and then it gets late at night, I start watching YouTube videos of video games. Should I stop doing that and start playing more video games, or continue to follow you?
Wow, this is This might be a life-changing question, folks. Consider what you say here. Can you check in with us in 10 years? I'm dying to find out how this works out for you.
Well, sometimes though when I'm trying to fall asleep, I don't really want to play a video game necessarily because I kind of just want to like.
So my soothing voice is.
So I mean, it depends on how you're feeling that night.
Yeah.
And then I guess follow up, do you have other people who feel are fans of your content and love to watch it, but actually don't play that many video games? They're just kind of into the people.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I get that a lot too. You know, not everyone has room for physical stuff. Or sometimes they just want that 2-minute like little snippet of, oh, I remember that game.
Yeah,
you know,
nostalgic memory.
that's definitely a big part of YouTube, and it's also a big part of Twitch. I mean, you know, one of the great things about Twitch is that I've been wanting to play Dead Space 2 for a while now, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But I'll hop into his stream, and you're there, and you're chatting with people. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one thing I've discovered since I started doing Twitch is I'm also watching other people play games. And I just get that feeling like when we would hang out and just we're all hanging out together and someone's drinking beer and watching somebody else play a game. And you get to watch this cool movie that your buddy's participating in. And more than once I'll be like, I think I was watching you play Horizon New Dawn or something like that.
Yeah,
and
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, Zero Dawn. And you kept saying, "Give me the control. Do you want to play?" I go, no. I'm having fun watching you. Go do that. Do that mission.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's for me. It's like watching movies with your best friends.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's so funny because my wife will do that too. I'll be like, "Oh, do you want to play?" And she'll, no. But then she'll be like backseat driving. You're missing over there. But she's right.
Awesome. Great question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the one question that I have is what goes into the process of choosing the Metal Jesus crew?
Well, bribery helps. Yeah. Showing up with 6 packs of beer
the
helps.
process.
Yeah.
Right. You know, well, there isn't. I know for me personally, I'm really just looking for people who are passionate about something, you know, and just bring that sort of energy and fire to that. Because when I first started my YouTube channel, I very quickly was not going to pretend to know everything. That was one of the things that kind of was different about my channel, is that I was okay not knowing everything, but I really wanted to reach out to people who knew stuff and had big collections, and so that's why John was one of the first people I reached out to. But then also everybody on the stage brings their own energy and style and you know, passion and knowledge, really. So that's what I look for, I would say, first and foremost, for sure.
Are you looking for like an academy or a process to go through? Because this might be a great business idea. Metal Jesus Boot Camp.
Yeah.
Just have a flyer, just like, sign here if you're interested in joining the Metal Jesus crew.
I will say, though, that what's interesting about YouTube is that it's harder than it looks, because you'll be behind the camera and you'd be like, I can talk forever. But when you're standing there looking at a lens and there's nobody there, and you've got to pretend that you're speaking to an audience, it's a little weird. And so it takes a while to kind of like ease into that, when you say, you know, kind of get used to talking to the pretend audience.
Yeah. I found very quickly that I can be like up here talking to you guys, and I'm fine, and I don't stumble, and I just say what's going to come out of my mouth. When I'm in front of the camera, my brain is also being the producer and the director and the writer. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to say next and make sure I want to get to the next topic, and I'll get 3 words into my intro. Drunken Master Paul here, and I totally forgot what I was going to say next. Damn it, now I've ruined the take.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm enjoying Twitch so much, is I just keep on going. And you and I have been through this many, many times shooting videos.
Oh, yeah.
Just trying to, and when we wrote things down, it was worse, because him trying to remember lines is a sight to behold.
It was bad.
It just won't happen.
Really bad. Yeah.
They're like, okay, just say what you're going to say next, and we're done.
Yeah. So, good question.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I've always been sort of a socially awkward child, and as such, I didn't grow up watching Dragon Ball Z. I grew up watching Sailor Moon. And
Awesome.
I was pretty surprised to find that on the Super Famicom, Dreamcast, and PlayStation 1, there's actually some 2D fighting games of Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
I was wondering if any of you guys have played them and what your opinion on them is.
I have played them.
Kinsey's really the expert on this one. I've played them, they're fun, but
Yeah.
Kinsey's got...
Some of the Super Famicom ones kind of suck, but they're still Sailor Moon, so it's kind of fun.
I kind of like the clunkiness of it.
Yeah, like some of them aren't that good, but it doesn't really matter because they have that Sailor Moon skin on them.
Well, there's so many references I'm so not going to make. Family show, DMP. It's a family show.
But like, there's one on the 3DO that's actually pretty good. Unfortunately, it's also the one that's worth the real money. But the best part about it is it has an opening cutscene that's all 3D and it's terrible and it's so good. But the 3DO one's probably the best one.
Cool, thank you.
Awesome hat, by the way.
Yeah, there's a typo on it. It doesn't say asteroids anywhere. It actually says steroids and then roids on the side.
Even better.
So yeah.
Yeah, really, that's hilarious.
That's excellent. Sounds like a Netflix original, steroids and roids.
Okay. I hope this is an easy question, but as a collector, what is one game or system that you've always wanted to add to your collection but have never been able to?
Panasonic Q.
Never heard of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Touche.
Apple Pippin. So that's super rare, and it never had it. Always wanted it. It's just it's so expensive.
I lost an auction earlier this year for a WonderSwan game I've been after for a really long time called Tenori On. There's only 120 of them in the world. It's like it was sold at an art show in a little baggie. That's the level of crazy this thing is. I've had to bow out around $2,500. Yeah. So that one's probably not happening.
Right. I mean, I grew up broke. I never had a Neo Geo. I'd love to have it. I mean, I could get one now. But like, man, like the Neo Geo was just like, man, that's the thing to get, would be the Neo Geo. It's like, that's the arcade, but it's at home. And it's like, I mean, even though like now like at home games look better than the arcade, I've never had a Neo Geo, and there's nothing stopping me from getting one now outside of just I don't.
You don't.
Mine's as of right now is a WonderSwan Crystal. I can't find that system, at least for. But that's what I'm looking for, so I'll probably be hitting up your store pretty soon.
I know for me, I'm gonna go obscure and kind of weird on you, but last year at the auction here, I'm kicking myself still. I know. So
I almost bid for you.
I don't know if you guys know what a Next computer is, but basically when Steve Jobs got kicked out of Apple, he was like, screw you, I'm taking all my toys, and he basically created a computer company called Next. And they were light years ahead of everyone at the time. As a matter of fact, your Apple device right now still runs the operating system in certain parts of it. So they had one last year, fully functional, and I was like, I was hemming and hawing. I don't know why I did that, but
It went for so cheap too.
Yeah.
I know. No.
It went for $800.
500? It wasn't crazy amount of money for that kind of computer. Yeah, and I would love to play around with it because I never have. It's just one of those computers that, they were so expensive back in the day, but way ahead of its time. So that would be really cool to get someday.
And mine is weird. I'm not as much of a collector as all these guys, but I just like things that are just super weird, especially from my childhood. I'm looking for a copy of Bedlam on the TRS-80. It's an old text adventure. Oh. And just because I remember it's text adventures, the book was more exciting than the game. But I remember that, and I can find pictures of it, but I have not been able to find that anywhere. So that's my holy grail. I'm never going to find it, but when I do, it'll be awesome.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Ooh, I don't really know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not much of a collector.
Now he's just going to start collecting everything we just said.
Yeah.
He's going to get those copies. Then he's going to email us, say, look at this video I made of all the stuff you guys wanted.
Yeah, I'll get back to you in a few years about that.
Damn. Yeah. We get caught on that all the time.
Howdy, hey.
Hey.
Hello. So, you were the first person I saw Metal Jesus when I entered the Expo, which was interesting. And you were like the one person I came to see, which was interesting.
You were that guy outside of my hotel room.
Oh,
yeah.
Explain.
Well, thanks for putting on pants this time, is all we're saying.
That was
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I love the channel. Especially stuff about Sierra, because I've worked in video game tech support before, so hearing that stuff is just scintillating to me. So, but my question is, I'm trying to find a version of Pokemon, Spanish language. So it doesn't really matter which one, but it's like Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advanced. Have you heard of anything like that?
Yeah, we've had Spanish copies of the games in the store before.
can we get in touch later?
I don't have one right now, but
Okay.
yeah, I mean, they show up, yeah.
Cool,
Are
awesome.
you searching for it like in Spanish? Because I
In-
think it
in
is
s-
called like.
Yeah, in Spanish.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Do
because
you live around here in Seattle?
I live in Portland.
Okay,
but,
cool. So you can make a trip up to Pink Gorilla.
Yeah, because I found an Italian version of Pokemon Crystal, but I don't speak Italian. So I like speak half of Spanish. So it'd be nice to find one in Spanish. So, all right, thank you.
Sweet. Yeah.
Okay, so before the question, quick thing, guys. I just came back from Japan for my first trip there, learning Japanese too, like you guys love the import games. I brought a little bag of goodies. I gave some stuff to John, and I got something in here for everyone to pick something out. I do have a Wonder Swan color game. You probably have it, I imagine, but you can always take a look. So, but for the question, I just sort of thought I'd go a little different. What has been in the last year something that you were really hyped for and was a bit of a disappointment?
That's a good one.
Something I was really excited. We Happy Few.
Yeah. Good answer.
I was so excited about that game. It had like people who worked on BioShock working on it, and I was like, oh my god, it'll be so good. And I played like 4 hours, and I was like, it sucks. Like,
It's okay. It just, I mean, the trailer, like the launch thing and all that, it's like, man, it could, I think I was,
It looked
same with
so
We Happy
good.
Few, it could have been something awesome, but they went with a different route, which is their own idea. But for me personally, is the Google Stadia pre-order. Because I was one of the very few. I was like, we're going to be in a digital age. It's all good. I can still collect the old stuff too. Right. But I was really happy about it. And then it was like the subscription service, and then you have to pay extra for the AAA titles, which you can also play on the PlayStation 4 or 5 or whatever at the time. So I was like, I have no reason to have this yet. So.
Not gonna lie, I wasn't thinking about subscribing at all on that.
Yeah, well, not too many people were, but I was interested. Yeah.
Does that have to be a game from this year?
Well, if there's something recent, memorable that comes to mind.
I mean, it's a Tales of game. Tales of Zestiria, I think it's called.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Really
big
not
good.
good?
I barely. Yeah, no, I almost didn't beat the game. I almost gave up on it. I always beat all those games, but yeah, that was a big disappointment for me.
No Man's Sky VR.
Okay.
And I just
I could imagine.
It's not a bad, it really is an awesome game, okay? It's gotten a lot better, but the VR, I was really excited thinking, oh, this is gonna be great. And I tried multiple times to try it, I don't like this.
Yeah, fair.
And I remember my wife was like, man, you really talked about being excited about this. You must really not like this. I'm like.
Does it seem like it's forced in the game?
Yeah, it's very forced. I think the normal updates to the game are awesome, and I like playing it non-VR. I actually think it's better playing it that way.
You got one?
No, I don't know.
Because I got one.
Oh, it's okay.
Gears 5.
Really?
Really, I like the game, but I was really disappointed because I loved Gears 2 and 3. I didn't get a chance to play Gears 4 because I didn't have an Xbox One. But Gears 5 was beautiful. I loved the storyline, but they added kind of an RPG element to it where you got to do side missions and get things to upgrade Jack, the robot. You couldn't upgrade your weapons. So it added so much time to the game that just didn't add any substance. And so I played it, and the parts where you have to do, like Gears of War stuff, which is hide behind things and shoot everything. There wasn't enough of that. It didn't carry the story enough, and it got distracting, and I got to the point where I was saying, I'm playing maybe 4 hours of good gameplay out of the 15, the rest is just walking around. So I liked it. I thought the game overall was good, but that really disappointed me. I wanted it to be just, Gears 5, let's go, full on.
All right, since we're pissing people off, I'm going to say Red Dead Redemption 2. Here's the deal. I love the original one.
Subscriber count's going to start dropping pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, really. Unsubscribe. I thought it was technically absolutely amazing. I loved going around the entire world. But for some reason, it didn't connect with me like the original game. Like, I put a lot of time into it, actually, probably 30, 40 hours, something like that. Got to the swampy area and stuff, and yeah, it was just, for whatever reason, it just didn't grab me. And I know I'm not alone in that. I know there's a lot of people kind of just, for whatever reason, just kind of fell off on it, so.
Did you beat the game?
No, I didn't. And
Well, you kept telling me to play this game.
What's that?
You kept telling me I should play this game.
No, well, maybe. No, that was probably Horizon Zero Dawn, which is another open world game, which is fantastic.
No, it was Red Dead, 'cause I
I remember
kept
you
saying
saying
I
that
wanted to
was
play the first
amazing.
one.
Yeah, so I don't know, for some reason, Red Dead Redemption's weird, I don't know why.
We all don't click with something. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friends were like, get
Thank
Final
you for-
Fantasy 15. I played 20 hours and I was bored, so
Okay, cool.
who knows?
Get everyone?
Okay. I would normally do this afterward, but my parking is set to expire like right now, so if I could kind of hand this stuff out, then I'm gonna. Yeah, so I'll try to make.
Jump on up. Next person, go ahead and come on up or get ready for your next question. We've only got about 10 minutes left, and so we're going to do another about 5 minutes of questions, and we're going to do our lightning round.
Hello. So I just finished a 3-year stint with the Navy in Japan, and I was doing
Yay!
and I was doing a lot of collecting for the Super Famicom, and I was wondering if you guys had ever heard of the Sufami Turbo, and if you did any collecting for it.
I have one, and I have one game for it.
Is it Sailor Moon?
I wish. No, the Sufami Turbo. It's kind of like the Aladdin cart where it like plugs into the top of a that guy. It plugs into the top of a Super Famicom, and then like little cartridges plug into that.
Yeah, and I think some of the cartridges like transfer data between each
Yeah.
other.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. I got it for like hella cheap up in Vancouver because nobody knew what it was. I didn't know what it was. But I was like, I'll take that. And he's like, oh yeah, I think this goes with it. And I was like, thank you. But yeah, it's rad because
Thank
it's
you.
so weird.
Come on up.
Hey, I don't have a question exactly. I just wanted to pass on a piece of fan art to Metal Jesus, if I may approach the stage.
Oh, sure, of course.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
I actually ran into Radical Reggie the other day as I was leaving the convention center, and I gave him one as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's so cute.
That's cool.
I also made a couple of his characters from his favorite video game, Steambot Chronicles. I didn't know
Yes,
your
you gave me
favorite
the
game,
characters.
otherwise I would have made you more.
Oh, no worries, yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to give you a piece because
That's
of
totally
my
cool.
fan art,
Yeah, it
because
is, it's cool.
I think your channel's fantastic, and all you guys are great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you very
so
much. This is as awake as I've seen you in a long time.
It's the what?
It's as awake as I've seen you in a long time. Awesome.
Hi, I'm Tommy. It's my first PRGE, so I'm
Yay!
Have fun.
I don't really watch any of you guys on YouTube, but my friends do, so I know you guys are like important. You guys have been talking about.
You say so.
I've come off a hiatus from playing video games for a while. Just recently got into a Switch. You guys talked about getting into a Switch. I moved in with an old friend of mine, so I'm looking for some good couch co-ops, whether they're ports or original Switch games. Yeah, for Switch.
Heave ho.
Yeah.
Heave ho for sure. Heave ho. It's you can do like 4-player couch co-op, and you only need your Joy-Con. You can play it from there. It's
Oh, Heave
fantastic.
Ho's great.
So Diablo 3.
Diablo 3?
Yeah.
Burger Time Deluxe, Party Edition, 4-player. I think
Burger Time Party Edition?
So if you like Burger Time, it's like a $30 game. So
Hey Cody, what's that game that's about saving the kids or whatever? What is that game called? Don't save the kids. Is it Save the Children? It's a very silly indie game where you have to. Your kids are constantly trying to kill themselves, and you have to like corral them.
It's like messed up.
And yeah, it's wonderful. The more it gets easier, the more people you add to it. So it's pretty hard with 2
Nice.
people.
I've
And then
driven
with,
the school bus in Oakland,
with
so
3
I know what
people,
that's
it's
like.
manageable. It's great. It's a great game.
What was the cooking game that we played down in Oregon?
Overcooked.
Overcooked.
That's also
Yeah.
that's another excellent
Yeah,
trying
you
to
make
prevent
enemies,
chaos
though.
game.
Just be aware. It's like,
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And Super Mario Kart.
Right?
Yeah, it's just that they reback.
Thank you.
Castle Crashers Remastered. That's another
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Thank you so much.
So this question is in honor of my boy, the Ness, who just moved across the world to go to a 400 square foot apartment in Manhattan. Got rid of all of his arcades, all of his games, except for his NES collection, complete minus stadium events.
Okay.
What one collection would you bring with you to your tiny apartment if you had to bring one?
You say that like we're not already in tiny apartments. I know Kinsey can agree with
We're
me
from
there.
we're from the South, and we might not understand.
That's funny. Well, I will say that a little shout out to EverDrives. I mean, whether you think it's not like a physical collection, but I mean, there's a reason why so many people like EverDrives is because you can, live in a small space like that and play a lot of great games on real hardware. So. I want to throw that out there, but for me personally, though, again, getting back to my favorite console, it'd be a PlayStation 2, because again, there's every kind of game that I would ever want to play on that, whether it's role-playing game, shooters, first-person shooters, all, everything, driving games.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having a 400 square foot apartment and a complete PS2 collection?
Have a 100 square foot apartment.
Yeah.
Your furniture would be made out of your collection.
It's tough.
Oh, John.
Because there's a small apartment, I wouldn't put the Genesis collection in there.
Yeah.
It's one of my bigger collections size-wise, so I'm actually going to say TurboGrafx 16.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Take all those
Because
out of the boxes.
great games, there's great games, there's a lot of great content there, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. It could fit into a rubber tub.
Right on.
Like where mine's sitting right now.
I think I'd probably just keep my WonderSwan collection just because it's been the most difficult to put together and the most unique. And then, EverDrive's for everything else. I guess.
Anyone else?
But you already, you guys know definitely the PlayStation 1. That's just, I couldn't go anywhere without that, so.
He just rolls around in it.
You have your own screen.
I'm still finding games for that system even to this day, like imports, PAL games, it's amazing. And I got the little screen for it and everything, so take it anywhere, so.
It's the boring answer, but Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, really, because it has everything, and it's like I have far more digital games anyway, so I don't have to worry about the physical collecting of it.
Perfect. Well, rock on, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And personally, for me, I would just bring beer to their apartment, play their games, and luxuriate in the space of my own place. Kind of what I do now.
I just have a quick one. What's your all-time favorite party game, and do you play Melee?
Do I what?
Melee.
Do you play Melee?
I think some of the most fun I've ever had with party games is playing Rock Band at our house.
Yeah.
The full setup of the drums and actually he's got the pro setup as well, so it's even got the keyboard. And
Yeah.
You can go nuts on that, and we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rock Band is really fun. I don't think I give it enough credit.
Yeah.
But lately at parties, I've been playing things like Nidhogg and Overcooked.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone always gets mad. Yeah. You're supposed to do the buns, Karen.
So Super Monkey Ball. So Super Monkey Ball, specifically Monkey Target, and that when you land in the water, you have to drink a shot. So
God.
People die.
Yeah,
I'm terrible
it's
at
brutal. I'll tell you what, that game's awesome. The GameCube version.
Why have you invited me to this?
I'm also going to go with Overcooked. That's like some of the most fun I've ever had playing a party game. And you get some really good one-liners out of it because people are yelling in the chaos. You're like, crap the meat, crap the meat. It's great. It's fun for the whole family.
I probably had the most fun with my friends playing like No Mercy for the Nintendo 64, like 4-player and all that. Because I'm a huge wrestling fan too, so we would stay up just all night playing, editing wrestlers, like making ourselves or making all alterations. And I mean, same with the Fire Pro series too. We probably spent more time editing characters than actually playing the game. But yeah, the Fire Pro and any of the 64 wrestling games for sure.
Yeah, and like Mario Party on the 64. I still love Mario Party. I know people give it a bad rap. They're like, oh, in friendships. I'm like, no, it's fine.
Just get rid of the ones you don't really like.
Yeah. But I still love just the older Mario Party games. We still go back and play them.
For me, it would be definitely Horizon Chase Turbo. Like you guys probably saw us do a video on it. That's a fun racing game. If you like games like Outrun or like Coast to Coast or Outrun 2, that's the game you want to play.
Well, thank you.
Well, the honorable mention for me is, I'm still here and part of this, so I like to jump in and give answers every now and again. Worms of Mass Destruction was a ton of fun down at the beach house.
Which one?
Worms of Mass Destruction.
Oh, yeah.
At M&D. But that's an honorable mention. The king goes to Burnout 2 Crash Mode.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah, you can play that with people who've never gamed in their life, and they'll get hooked on it. Just mash the button and destroy things. Not enough damage, you lose. Damn it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, you guys.
2 more over there? Great, we can get through 3 more.
All right, so I'm very interested in the process of various content creators. So how far in advance are you filmed and uploaded typically?
Oh, man.
And then well, it's different for everybody. So there's no right or wrong answer. And then how long on your average format video? Because obviously vlogging and stuff gets a little more tedious, but your standard format, how long does it take you start to finish to get an episode done?
For me, it probably takes around like 12 hours, a good 12 hours put in a decent video, like a pickups video or something like that. I could do that in around 12 hours with editing, capturing the footage and all that. That's about around it.
And then do you have some episodes in the can? Always?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
like 5 pickups videos, like as backup, just in case I get tired. So
yeah. Very cool.
Mine totally varies, and I have like different, because like my collection video is a good example. My Sega CD video, if anybody saw that, I laid out my Sega CD collection. That took like all day, because I had to alphabetize, I had to make sure everything was there. I had to tell everybody to be quiet in my house. And so then like laying that out and then filming it, and that was a 4K video, so that took longer to render and upload. And so at anywhere from, I would say, 5 to 10. And I do 2 videos a week, and I'm teach second grade around that full time, have family. So that's about it. And I'm probably not thinking about the entire time. Like I could spend 2 hours on a thumbnail. And then I just need to okay, John, go to bed.
Yeah.
So mine aren't as heavily edited as Jason's, but it all varies. So.
I'm like completely low maintenance when it comes to my videos. So I can film, edit, and upload in about as long as it took me to just say that. I mean, my edits are super simple. I do audio editing, like that's my day job, is audio producing. So I edit my videos the same way I edit audio, which is I just remove all the I remove all the edits or remove all the, like just the dead space, basically. So it's super simple edits. I use iMovie, which is free. I record everything on my phone, which is free. I mean, and it's just, so for the whole process, I probably have maybe 2 or 3 videos in the can as a just in case, just as needed. But more often than not, especially if I'm doing like if I'm fixing games or something like that, usually as soon as it's done, then I can just, it's already good to upload. I'll at least like upload it and then maybe I'll like post it in the morning, like the next morning kind of thing. But I usually have something on hand just in case, like what Reggie was saying.
I'm the opposite of all these guys. My my research alone sometimes is 80 hours. So I don't know. I stopped counting. It's and I definitely don't always have one in the can because it's like, yeah, the research takes forever. So I'm nearing the end of research of the next video, but that means there's still, between filming and writing the script and editing and all that stuff, there's still much work to be done, but we'll get there soon.
Yeah, so for me, I do keep a running list of like, say, about 20 videos that I'm working on in some level, or I'd like to work on. And and I do a little bit of everything, so sometimes when we do pickups videos with Reggie, we capture all that footage. So we'll have 30 to 40 games in there, but he and I will capture all that footage, but it's even more complicated than that because sometimes, it's not just Switch, it's Xbox, it's
all these different systems you gotta hook up.
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
And so the capturing the footage, we're swapping cables and it takes days.
And then we want to capture like interesting scenes in the games too.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm always editing down to the frame. Essentially, is that I may show a minute of footage, but there's an hour in there for that one game. So it's a lot for that. The other thing too is that people don't realize that I don't do scripts. I just improvise everything that I do. If you hear my voice over, I improvise, but that also means I'm doing takes and takes and takes. And so even like this week, I did a video on a wooden NES. I went out to this forest by my house and shot this footage. It's about it's only a 3-minute video, but I did like 17 vocal takes on that, where literally just trying to get rid of the ums and the thes and getting my thoughts all ready together. So it takes longer than people expect. Or that they think, but that's also kind of the part of the gig, is that you want the editing to kind of you don't want people to notice the editing so much. They should just get into the story in the video, and so that's kind of part of it. So
We're about to run out of time, so
Okay.
I'm going to take one more question because this gentleman in the pink shirt has been waiting very patiently for the entire time. Thanks for that question. It's a good one.
Okay, this is our first PRGE too. This is a great time. Kelsey, congratulations. You can breathe now. Yes. Now, Jason, I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
When are you going to do your Tex Murphy video?
Tex Murphy video. Oh, interesting.
You had mentioned that you
Yeah.
wanted to do when you're a big fan, and we are big
Uh-huh.
fans too. I love that stuff.
That's so specific. That's interesting. Yeah, so Tex Murphy is a futuristic full motion video, at least it turned into, text adventure essentially.
Correct.
But very, very advanced on the PC. I don't think they came out on consoles at all.
No, it was all
Yeah.
PC.
So for a long time, I was really looking for all of them, and I finally this year actually got the original because it's stupid expensive. So
I don't think I have the original either.
Yeah, the original.
I think
really
the first
hard
one
to
we
get.
played was Under a Killing Moon.
Yeah. So to answer your question, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because I do collect that way where I'm like, I want to do, like I did a Wing Commander video, and it was really fun to get all the versions of Wing Commander, you know? And so that's what I intend to do with it. Also, I really plan to kind of dig more into PC stuff, you know, from the 90s, you know, in the early 2000s, because I feel like they're on YouTube, there's not a lot of people doing that. There's some, obviously, like lazy game reviews, but I'd like to do more of it for sure.
It would be fun for you to do that because people don't realize just how difficult those damn things were to get to run.
Oh, yeah.
They were very hard to get to run.
And that's part of the reason it scares me, because I have like, 8 of them that and they'd all require different things, so.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be a challenge, but it'd be a fun one.
You did the tech support for Sierra, so you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Boot
why
disc,
it's taking
boot
so
disc.
long.
I still have my boot disc inside the box.
Oh, yeah?
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it
They're
was
like
so
gold.
hard.
I know. And actually, that's what's been really great. If you guys live around here, is RePC. I've talked about them on my channel before.
Right.
They got a warehouse full of this old computer stuff. And so you can go in there and you can be like, build me. Dude, get this. They actually repair Commodore 64s. You can take a Commodore 64 in there that doesn't work, hand it to them, and they can fix it for you. It's
I'm
amazing.
actually going to go up there and have them build me one, and I'm going to take them my Voodoo 5 video card.
Yeah.
And
it's-
they'll get
Thank you,
set.
guys.
Very handy.
All right, thank you guys so much for all the questions. Been a great panel. Thank you, Reggie, John, Kelsey, John, Metal Jesus, and Kinsey and E. What's that?